Hello. Hello, hello. I guess this does work. Okay, I'm see. This you can assure that you can hear me. I can't tell. The only reason is because just before I went on the air, I take the plug off of the microphone, and then while I was in the bathroom, it fell down into you know where. So I'm hoping that this is working. If not, I'm gonna be. This is all for this is all a waste and a and I'll have to buy a new mic before I can continue. Anyways, so nobody's in here because this was like last minute, so wouldn't surprise me if nobody shows up. I'm barely expecting anybody to watch me when I have 102 followers or subscribers. But I'm holding this live. Uh, I'm holding this live stream mainly because I just want to show. I just want to say hello. Um, and in about half an hour, you're gonna have to the person who just came in. Can you hear me? All right. Well, now they left. What is with these people? Anyways, I shouldn't complain. You're the reason I'm trying to build a channel. But what I'm trying to do is, what I want to do on this thing is introduce you to what's basically the new set for Ahjnot. I mean, you've seen this before, but you can see behind me that I got some new stuff. Okay, I'll show you. Well, darn it, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so there you go. So as you see, I got my Bert and Ernie Funko Pops. I got that off eBay from a rubber ducky, which I have sort of complained that I don't think Play School intended for that thing to squeak so that we can have some fun with it and be like Ernie, you know? And that really sucks. And that Funko right there is the original Oscar Grouch. You could tell he's orange. And then what you see here is like I'm going to go through a few albums. That's Sesame Country. It's one of my favorite albums. I'll talk about those down the road. And well, if I can move the finger right, there we go. And that's Letters, Numbers, and Signs. That is an unopened copy. I actually have two copies. I have so I have that one that I bought, and then I have one down here somewhere that is open and but has everything. So if I ever want to listen to it, this is a chess set my friend bought me a number of years ago that I actually tried to sell on eBay. Nobody bit, so I kept it. There's some other ones like this Cookie Monster 1963 Volkswagen bus. I bought that at the what's the name of that auto museum? It was the auto museum in LA. I saw it. I'm like, oh, gotta have it. And then you'll see I have Sesame Street Old School Volume 1 and Volume 2. Okay. So we're gonna have some stuff in the background. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna do a little unboxing, if you will. So I got this today. But I do have other aspirations for my YouTube content creation world here. If I can get this open. Of course, I'm using a Farberware. I'm using one of these Farberware knives that couldn't cut through couldn't cut through melted butter after about 5 days. You know what I'm saying? Hello to who entered. Can you please stick around? Be nice. Talk to me. That's what I'm here for. So I'm opening this up, and hopefully you'll be there for the live ring. And then he goes away. So it's like one person. Give it. But people put up tape on these things. All right, there we go. And then look, it's wrapped up like Amazon. Yeah, okay, let's get this open. Of course, a lot of people watch these things later, so or if by a lot, I probably mean a few of you. Two people in. Hello, folks. How you doing? You able to hear me all right? Please tell me. All right. We'll wrap these things up like it's a. Ah, here we go. Oh, look at that. Look what I done got. Had this growing up. It's in very good shape. Glad. This is always some good stuff. Police. What did I have here? Oh yeah, Bert's Bath, Sherlock Hemlock and the Mysterious Stranger, The Monster's Three Wishes, and they both left. Oscar in the number four, Sham shows Big Bird Five, Six Monsters in a Restaurant, Goldie Snuffle and the Seven Bears, King Hungry the Eighth, The Story of the Nine Dragons, Grover buys 10 balloons. So what I will do eventually is I'm going to put that down there. I also have the Sesame Street ABC storybook and the Sesame Street bedtime storybook on its way. This is just me collecting things from my youth as part of this channel. I'm kind of going all in. I figured worst comes the worst. I figure worst comes the worst if this channel does not take off. You know, I got stuff I could sell on eBay, make the money back. You never know. I would go walk this back there, but I don't think the cord for the microphone will reach because this is just me sitting here, really. I'm proud to say that one of my one of my videos got to 500 views, so that's a milestone. And you'll if anybody has noticed anybody who's watching the preview or saw the preview, you see that a lot of things have changed. That's why I wanted to really have this because hey, I want to make sure. And here comes my cat who thinks I don't feed him. Knock it off. The food's coming. You know it. The feeder goes off in about 8 minutes, but a little more like just a little more than 7 minutes away. And my cat is just like a dog, you know, they don't know time. But you may hear it in a little bit because, like I said, this is going to go on until 3:55 my time, which would be about 5:55 Eastern Standard Time in the United States or North America. Once we and then once we go live, I'm going to be there watching, and if anybody wants to comment or ask questions or anything, we're going to answer. So, of course, what we're going to be watching is me watching Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, commenting on it and everything. I'll be talking about all that. You know, I mean, I'll be talking about enough when it comes to it to be able to, you know, it's what I'm known for doing here is what I'm is commenting here. But this is the first time I'm going to be doing a full episode basically of a show. So this is basically my first 1 hour um, channel, and I'm hoping that it becomes popular as time goes on. You know, because every year, it just becomes something that pops up in your feed every year. You know, will you shut up? Good Lord, sorry. If you want a cat, you know. Like I said, it's not even like about 5.5 minutes, and the feeder will go off, and then the thing's gonna shut up for a while. Course, there's also the fact I just got in from Las Vegas. I had visited up there. I was visiting a friend, and I went to a couple of shows up in there because I tend to play Vegas every December and do something Christmassy with a friend up there. And then I just hauled my butt home, and I was actually sitting in a restaurant having a late lunch when I put on my X feed the announcement of this live feed that I'm going to do. I just didn't know if I was gonna make it there in time, make it home in time to watch it, okay? Hmm, so here I am, and on top of that, I'm also, looking over at my phone where, my Detroit Lions are beating the Pittsburgh Steelers so far, and I'm getting texts from my brother who's having a cow because he doesn't like what Dan Campbell does, and sometimes I don't blame him, but that's not what this is about right now. I mean, I could find myself checking the phone as well while I'm watching and waiting for some of you. I just wanna see how this actually moves because really every video I actually watch, like, when it drops, or at least I try to, because I was always trying to get on my X feed quickly so I could, like, yeah, "Hey, it's premiere," and all that, but now it's like I've had this weird change in my scheduling. I wanna keep the schedule right where it is at 10 a.m. Eastern that the, episodes drop, which means it's now 8 here. Because good old Phoenix, Arizona, most of Arizona does not do daylight savings time. The only exception is, if I'm pointing in the right direction, more like that way. There are there are tribal lands up in the northeast part that do, observe daylight savings time, and actually there's 2 that kind of overlap one another, and one does and one doesn't. It's really weird. It's crazy. Um, but anyways, so now it it drops at 8 a.m. my time, but at 8 a.m. on Monday, I'm at my chiropractor because I technically start work at 9:30 doing my regular job, but we've been doing more overtime because tax season's coming, so I have to try to be back here, before 9 so I can start work. So in a sense, I kinda don't, I'm kinda not here to watch the video. I'll try to watch it still and see, like, where everybody is. I also I also had it's like I was talking about in my first, live stream I did, where where I was listing, like, how many, like, my most watched videos, or some of the weird things, like, when videos would actually pick up, you know? They won't be watched, like, when I watch them, but in case you wonder why I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at the screen and not the camera half the time. Now I'm looking at the camera, now I'm looking at the screen. But we all look goofy. Have you ever been on, like, a Zoom meeting or Teams meeting or something like that at your job? You look just as goofy because 'cause you're looking at the screen where everybody is and not at the camera directly. Anyways, but still, um, so I remember the episode, can't remember the number, but it was one where Grover has a fit when he's a waiter, both because, the guy wouldn't buy the special of the day because the lunch hour was over, which of course is like, oh, it's like, what are you doing for the 57 minutes before you get to the restaurant? And besides, the guy should just ask for a clamshell and took it as takeout. I mean, it's just a sandwich, chips, a pickle, you know. And then there was the other one where he can't decide what to have for breakfast and keeps sending it back. And even when he says he's not going to change his mind anymore, oh, sorry, I can't eat this because it's now lunch. I'm like, what did you do? Show up at 11:56? I mean, come on. This is the kind of thing. This is the reason the channel exists, is because I've always had these thoughts. You know, I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't know if things are going to be better once we have. Oh, that's the other thing. There's new theme music, and I feel as if everything is starting to actually pick up better. From everything's doing better. As I go, because, well, the editing gets a little easier because for some reason we're kind of locked on a square. So what you see when you see me here in the room is what you get. I also have to tilt the camera because I still use the camera at the top of the computer. I still tilt it over. Hello, whoever walked in here. Um, and that's the alarm going off for my cat, and maybe you could hear the food falling in. He's gonna shut up. But, he as I was saying, so I'm tilting it because I'm still using the camera at the top of the monitor. I haven't really gone there yet. And then the reason why, and nobody's really asked me this because hardly anybody comments, although I did get some big comments on the recent one of the more recent ones. I've had things about Bert and Ernie in the library. I had someone ask me about Elmo. Do I like Elmo? Not really. No. I like him for one reason and one reason only. He kept Snuffy from leaving. That great day. Finally, someone thought to stop him from going home and ruining everything and making everybody still believe he was imaginary. You know? But nobody's ever really asked me about I admit I try my hardest to look at this camera, but I'm always looking at the screen and I'm one of these weirdos, and maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I'm not alone. But when I look at a screen, when I'm when I know something I'm supposed to say, I have to still look at it to get it down. If I look away, suddenly I'm like, I don't hold on to any of my outtakes. I guess I'm too embarrassed to have them because with what I use, I click on it, I start, and I'm like, yeah, and then I click off of it and try it again until I get it right, or get through it, and all of a sudden nobody can hear like the first word, and apparently that's still happening with this. So I'm gonna have to check some videos, especially if this doesn't come out. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna have to overdub, which I don't know what the hell I'm saying because this is all off the cuff. I mean, I've basically done exactly what I said I was gonna do in this one, which is show you the new setup, as I mentioned before. Anybody watch this later, this is the new setup. I've always wanted to do something like this, but I had no idea what to do, and that's why I had that green screen. If it turns out I don't need that thing anymore, I'll probably sell it to someone on Craigslist, I don't know, because it's probably easier for someone to come in and take it, pay me the cash, and be off with it, you know? I mean, we all start off crappy. I mean, heck, I just watched Tom Grossi talking about reviewing a Bears and a Packers fans reaction to a game that just happened this weekend. And then I swear, I see a flashback, and then you see his first ever video, which is just him on a couch with a cheese head on and everything. He's just. But that's how all of these things start. So we all start kind of crappy. I mean, look at my pilot episode. My pilot episode is such a mess, such a hot mess. You know, the audio is off because I just kept doing the same thing and stopping and then cutting it and everything. And I even did that on the first episode before I finally realized I don't need to do that. There are times when I also, you know, wondered if I could just get through way more. It seems like every time I pause, for something, it should be a new cut. I really think it should be no matter what. Just because I know it off the top of my head doesn't mean I shouldn't just run through it. But I think the direction this channel is going to go into might come out a little better. But that's just me. Sorry if I just did that. I just watched. Oh, okay, a touchdown. Steelers scored a touchdown. Got pulled off. Now they got it at the end of the man, and they get the ball back. Anyways, if there's any Steelers fans out there, I'm sure you're real happy. But that's at the time of this video. So I've done an unboxing, opening up a package, and showed you that I have the Sesame Street 1, 2, 3 storybook. Where did I put it? There it is, in proper condition. Because not only is this going to be a collector's item, it's also going to be me. Maybe one day having a separate channel where I actually read stories to kids. There's not always going to be some people don't always have children that, or some children don't always have like a parent that can always read to them. It's kind of like one of these TikTokers who, because they don't, because a boy doesn't have a father figure, is there to teach you things like how to tie a tie and such. I kind of like that. I want to be the one that reads like these stories to kids, and then I want to take pictures and put them up in the top of the screen while I'm down here reading. So you can follow along if you want. If you're hiding this underneath a if you're hiding underneath, the sheets with a video, and whether your parents allow you to do that or not, I don't know. But I have all kinds of plans with these things. Now, once I get done with this, I mean, nobody said a word about whether they have, but like I said, a lot of people have walked in and said nothing. I mean, even with 102 subscribers, you'd think I'd have some people sticking around and listening to me so they could talk to me. But again, I mean, this was brought up at the last minute. I didn't have much time to get in here to, maybe give some time. So if you guys want to watch it, it's okay. That's what it's here for. There's not much left, but like I said, the doors are closed and I have the screen set in such a way, and then I can just go back and forth when I'm doing my editing to make sure it's on track as best as possible. And I feel like I have a lot more stuff in the pipeline that's really going to work out, you know, for me to get this really on track. I've been holding back on a lot of things because I did know at some point that this was going to be a this was going to get better as time went on. It always gets better as you know what you're doing. Like I said, those first couple of videos, like there was no music. The editing was crappy, you know. Even me off the cuff trying to talk, and of course you can't hear me. I do my best with this, but like I said, I'm gonna listen later. If this sounds worse, I'm gonna have to go buy another one. That sucks. I got about a couple more minutes, probably just less than 2 minutes, because I do want to shut down and let this be, let this get published, and then I got to go and get ready for the premiere. Okay, which is going to come up very soon. So, if any of you, since really hardly anybody walked in here, I guess I had up to two people. Nobody talked. That's okay. It's not. It's expected when I haven't really announced these things. But I hope you guys, if you don't watch it live, watch it later. Of course, you're going to watch this because this is one of the biggest things we ever watch is the Sesame Street Christmas special, Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. And of course, you get to watch it with me, making some comments, making some observations, and whatnot. And as I always do, I put the link in the description so you could just click on what I was watching and watch it without me yapping over it. That's how that works. And I always say if you can leave a comment there, tell them Ahjnot sent you, because I say if, because a lot of these, if it's not, even if it's not Sesame, I've probably said this before, even if it's not Sesame Workshop, some of these people shut off comments. There's not a lot of these have comments anymore, and that's why I'm doing what I do. And therefore, um, that's why I'm here, and I'm hoping this continues to grow. I'm going to cut this off now, and I'll be there with you guys for the premiere. Have a great day and night. That's it.